But if you win the Stanley Cup, you're going to get eliminated. Of course, I'm going to be simming the Montreal Canadiens, so honestly, this is the first time I'm going to say I hope the Montreal Canadiens do not win the playoffs and the Stanley Cup. So basically, for this challenge, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be simming an entire NHL season. If the NHL team wins the Stanley Cup, they're going to be eliminated from the video and this game. So what I'll do is I'll replace their team with like a 0 overall team, and I'll be giving away 3 players from the team that won the Stanley Cup, because they're going to be eliminated, to the 3 best teams in the league. And right now, Montreal is definitely one of the worst teams in the league, so that's a good sign. So obviously the Montreal Canadiens missed the playoffs, which is a great sign, which means they're not going to be eliminated in this. So our 3 best teams were Carolina, Los Angeles, and Tampa Bay, which means that they will be getting a player from the team that won the Stanley Cup, but the team that won the Stanley Cup was Tampa. So that means Tampa will not be getting a player. Instead, they will be giving 2 players away instead of 3. And they'll be giving it to Carolina and LA. Alright, so we're going over to the Carolina Hurricanes because they finished first. And they'll be picking up an 85 overall Nikita Kucherov. Or 96 overall, sorry. That's crazy. And the next team was the LA Kings. And they'll be picking up a 93 overall goalie. So we're going to have to get rid of their worst goalie here, which would be Forsberg. Really? Forsberg? I think that's a pretty fair trade. And obviously Vasilevsky's going to be their best player now. That's crazy. So obviously we have our first team gone. We have the Tampa Bay Lightning. So we're going to sub them out. We're going to put in a WHL team probably, because it's the best we could do. We're just going to replace them with like a random team, because it doesn't really matter anymore who we replace them. They're still going to be a bad team. So we're going to replace them with Brandon. So yeah, the Brandon Wheat Kings, 56 overall. Because if I put a 0 overall, the game will crash. So we can't do that. Alright, season number 2 is going to be simmed here. Crazy how we already lost the Tampa Bay Lightning, but who cares? So from missing the playoffs last season to first in the Atlantic, we hope that's not first in the league, and it's not, thank God. But Edmonton, Calgary, and Colorado will be picking up a player. Calgary? What? But we have another issue. You know how Colorado won the Stanley Cup, but they also placed 3rd in the league. So only 2 players from Colorado will be handed out to Edmonton and Calgary. So our first player is Nathan MacKinnon to the Edmonton Oilers. That is literally crazy. Nathan MacKinnon, 96 overall, alongside with Connor McDavid and Draisaitl. That's deadly. And the next team was Calgary, and Calgary gets a 95 overall Cale Makar. Alright, Season 3 is underway, guys. Let's hope the Montreal Canadiens do not win. I want to see how long that these guys can survive. By the way, this team was first in the Atlantic throughout most of the season simulation. They missed the playoffs, but that's okay because then they're not eliminated. Best teams were Dallas, Edmonton again, and Carolina again. Oh my gosh, so 3 teams right here will be getting a player from the Stanley Cup champion, and the Stanley Cup champion was the LA Kings. So the LA Kings will be eliminated, and Dallas, Edmonton, and Carolina will be getting a player from LA. LA doesn't have that many good players, though. We're running into an issue here. Vasilevsky's not originally from the LA Kings, but he is the best player, which means he'll be moving over to the Dallas Stars, but we also have to get rid of a goalie from Dallas. I think that Dallas will be fine with that. So, Edmonton will be picking up Adrian Kempe from the LA Kings, and Carolina will be picking up an 88 overall Anze Kopitar. Season 4 is going underway here. Let's hope the Montreal Canadiens do not win the Stanley Cup. Yeah, this team was holding a wild card spot for the longest time. Then Detroit beat them up, but that's fine. But they won't be getting a player, but they will be secured another round. The Edmonton Oilers will be claiming another player, for God's sakes, the Dallas Stars and the Florida Panthers. But who will they be claiming a player from? Well, that's going to be none other than the Winnipeg Jets. Winnipeg Jets are going to be eliminated. Edmonton, Dallas, and Florida will be picking up a player here. So here we are. They're going to be claiming in 94 overall Connor Hellebuck. They're going to be getting rid of Connor Ingram, I guess. But that's all right. That's a pretty good trade. Dallas, on the other hand, will be picking up Mark Scheifele. Dallas just looks like a juggernaut right now. And the next team will be Florida. So they're going to be picking up Kyle Connor. That's a great pickup, too. The Florida Panthers look really strong right now. But I think Edmonton is still the strongest team. This is Season 5. It's going to be going underway here. Let's hope the Montreal Canadiens will make the top 3 and not win the Stanley Cup. They need a player. They haven't gotten one yet. So Montreal Canadiens, they made the playoffs. They didn't finish top 3 in the league, though. That will be handed over to Edmonton, Florida, and Carolina. But a team that finished in the top 3 did win the Stanley Cup, and that's the Florida Panthers. So Florida will be eliminated from the playoffs and this video. But they'll be handing over some players to our two champions, because Florida can't give a player to themselves and they're eliminated. So it's just Edmonton and Carolina. So Edmonton Oilers are going to be picking up a 95 overall Alexander Barkov. This team just continues to get better. And the Carolina Hurricanes will be picking up a 93 overall Matthew Tkachuk. This is just crazy, dude. Alright, this is season number 5 going underway here. Montreal had a monstrous season with 107 points, which will put them in 6th in the league. They're still not going to be able to get a player. But we have our 3 teams. We have Dallas, Carolina, and Seattle, which is quite shocking. The team that won the Stanley Cup is the Minnesota Wild, so they will be eliminated. And they'll be Minnesota will be giving away 3 players to the 3 best teams in the league, which are, these guys. So the first player that's going to be traded away is Quinn Hughes, a 95 overall to the Dallas Stars, which is just absolutely insane. And the next team will be Carolina here. And they'll be getting a 94 overall Kirill Kaprizov. The Carolina Hurricanes just continues to get better. And the next team would be Seattle, which is a team that I don't think anyone thought would be that good this season. They'll be getting a Matt Boldy 89 overall. That's pretty damn good. The Minnesota Wild are eliminated, and we're going on to Season 7. Season 7 being simmed. Honestly, I think it'd make a little bit more sense if I removed the 3 best players from those teams instead of giving them 3 players, because that ups their chances of winning the Stanley Cup. So I'm kind of screwing them over in a way. But in a way, they should actually... I turned off trades. Montreal finishing in 3rd in the league will not get them a player. So we have Dallas, Edmonton, and Buffalo? Okay, so Carolina will be eliminated. So that's our first Metro team gone. And our third Eastern team eliminated now. That's crazy. So Carolina will be giving over a player to Dallas Stars, Edmonton Oilers, and Buffalo Sabres. So here we are at the Carolina Hurricanes. Dallas will be getting a player. Nikita Kucherov will they be getting. Edmonton will be receiving Kirill Kaprizov, and Buffalo will be receiving Matthew Tkachuk. I'm gonna be honest, I'm very shocked that, Dallas, Edmonton, these teams have not been eliminated yet, because, they have some really good players on their teams, and they have yet to win the Stanley Cup. What are you guys doing wrong? Started getting the worst stress ever after watching the playoffs happen. So we have Dallas, Edmonton, and Washington. Washington's shocking, honestly, in there, making the top 3. But Edmonton winning the Stanley Cup, which is a bad thing, because they don't get a player, and they're eliminated. Edmonton, I'm very glad that you won, because now you're gone. And Dallas and Washington will claim a player from you guys. Connor McDavid, welcome to Dallas? Whoa. Connor McDavid, welcome to the Dallas Stars. And Washington, say welcome to Leon Draisaitl, because he's joining you guys. What is this, Season 8 or Season 9 now, I think? Montreal's second in this thing. Yet they still didn't even crack the top 3. Come on, they're right there. So Dallas will be getting a player, Toronto will be getting a player, and Washington will be getting another player here. But, oh, just kidding, Dallas is not going to be getting a player as they will win the Stanley Cup, which means that they are eliminated. And half of the Central Division has been eliminated now, up to 4 teams in the Central, which means that the Central teams are having it easy with points and wins. Connor McDavid, you will finally be joining the Toronto Maple Leafs. All you Toronto fans can now shut up about saying, "Oh, McDavid's coming to the Maple Leafs." Oh yeah, you can shut up about that now. He's there, and Washington will be getting Nikita Kucherov. That's it. All right, we're on to season 10. Who will be the 10th team to get eliminated? And Montreal needs to finish in the top 3. They need a player, but at the same time, kind of want them to finish last because then they won't be in the playoffs. They won't have a chance to win the Stanley Cup, and they'll have bad players, which will drag them down so they won't win the Stanley Cup. So Montreal did not even come close to finishing top 10. That's very shocking considering that they were like second in the Atlantic. Every other division was just insane this season. Washington, Toronto, Vegas will be our top 3 winners here. So Toronto will be receiving a player. Just kidding. Toronto is going to be our next team out. That is now 3 Atlantic teams gone, which is actually very shocking. So Washington will receive Connor McDavid, and Vegas will be receiving Auston Matthews. So he will finally be pairing up with Mitch Marner again. Welcome to Vegas. Matthews, you'll get your full contract payout because there's like no taxes in the state of Nevada. Season 11 underway here. As you guys know, the Toronto Maple Leafs are now gone. We won 13-0. Monstrous season for the Montreal Canadiens with a 62-win season. 16-4. It took this team to like mid-January to even hit 10 losses, which is crazy. Anyways, Montreal will be receiving a player. Seattle will, and Washington will, because Vegas won the Stanley Cup. So congratulations to the Vegas Golden Knights. You guys are eliminated. And it will be Montreal and Seattle because Washington will not get it because they are not in the top 3. So we're on to the Montreal Canadiens. They will be receiving Jack Eichel. That's a hell of a player to pick up here. And next was Seattle. So the Seattle Kraken will be receiving Mitch Marner. And Vegas is no more. Season 12 underway here. Montreal picking up Jack Eichel. I really hope that makes it so we lose more games. Okay, we're not losing. What the hell? Well, Montreal had a monstrous season here, as you guys can tell. First in the league with a 65-15-2. Jack Eichel really helped that much to the Habs. And, like, this is a huge margin, like, gap here. Vancouver was not catching up. And the fact that Vancouver's even in this top 3 is crazy. And Washington right there, too. So Washington and Vancouver will be receiving a player. And Montreal is eliminated because they won the Stanley Cup. Congrats, though. Cole Caulfield, 107 points on the season. That's crazy. And he also led the Habs in scoring here in the playoffs. So good job for the Cole Caulfield. But Montreal's going to be gone. And it's going to be Vancouver and Washington stealing a player from the Montreal Canadiens. Vancouver will be receiving Jack Eichel here. And Washington will be getting Nick Suzuki. So, season number 13 is going to be simmed here. Montreal is eliminated, unfortunately. Pittsburgh, with a 53-win season, you still managed to miss the postseason. I don't know how. But anyways, the Philadelphia Flyers came out of nowhere, and they won the Stanley Cup. So that's finally going to be our next Metro team gone. I guess Washington, Calgary, and New Jersey will be receiving a player from the Philadelphia Flyers. Travis Konecny will be joining the Washington Capitals. We'll be receiving Matvei Michkov, and New Jersey will be receiving Travis Sanheim. Season 14 is going to be simmed here. So our top 3 teams, Washington, Calgary, and Detroit. Pittsburgh did make the postseason, but they did lose, and Washington won the Stanley Cup, which means they are going to be eliminated, which means those 2 teams are going to be claiming a player from the Washington Capitals, and that's obviously going to be Connor McDavid for Calgary, and Detroit, I don't really know who they're getting yet, so let's go. Give them their players. Connor McDavid going to Calgary here, so he'll be joining Cale Makar, and Detroit will be getting Nikita Kucherov. Detroit has never gotten a player yet. Wow. It's actually kind of shocking. All right. Season 15 is going to be simmed right here. Let's hope the Pittsburgh Penguins do not make the postseason. We do not want them winning the Stanley Cup because this is my second favorite team. I do not want them to be out now. I don't know who I'd play as if they get eliminated. Pittsburgh, 61-win season. Hooray. Calgary, Anaheim, Detroit? Wait, Anaheim? Wait, what? Anyways, the Stanley Cup winner, it's just unbelievable. And this honestly goes to stick on the ice. St. Louis, 4-0 in the Stanley Cup final. What the hell happened? What? St. Louis. Calgary will be receiving Robert Thomas. We'll be receiving Colton Parayko. We'll be getting Jordan Kyrou. Not bad, but I can't believe that the Blues just came out of nowhere, won the Stanley Cup, when they didn't even get a player. This is Season 16, guys. Season 16 underway. Wow, can't believe the St. Louis Blues came out of nowhere and just won the Stanley Cup. 53-win season for the Pittsburgh Penguins. That made them miss the postseason. So we have Buffalo, Calgary, and Detroit in the top 3. You're not going to believe who won the Stanley Cup. Yeah, it's Columbus. What is going on? By the way, after with this, we've officially made it 16 teams gone. Half of the NHL teams are gone, which means we have the possibility of seeing some 0 overall teams in the postseason. Zach Werenski's going to Buffalo. Calgary's going to be receiving Kirill Marchenko. That's pretty good. And Detroit will be receiving Severson. I never even heard of this guy until now. This is Season 17, guys. So after the season, we will officially see our first 0 overall team inside of the postseason. That's crazy to think. So, Pittsburgh, 62 wins. They still can't do it. Calgary somehow had 70 wins. 70. So Calgary, Detroit, Seattle will be receiving a player. The team that won the Stanley Cup, New Jersey Devils. What is going on? That is now in 5 Metro teams gone. Calgary will be receiving Jack Hughes. Detroit will be receiving Jesper Bratt. And Seattle, all the way down here, will be receiving Dougie Hamilton. Wow. Season 17, guys. Which means we will see our first official 0 overall team inside of the postseason. That's going to be scary to think. Pittsburgh snubbed out of the top 10. Top 3, sorry. Top 10, they're there. Seattle, Ottawa, Anaheim. Yeah. You want to know who won the Stanley Cup? Detroit. Yeah, Detroit. Detroit. Yeah, Detroit. That's another Atlantic team gone. So, that's a good thing. But seriously, we need some Pacific teams to lose. And yeah, there we go, guys. Our first 0 overall team. And Ottawa won 4-0. Who would have guessed? So, Nikita Kucherov will be going over to Seattle. Dylan Larkin over to the Ottawa Senators. Anaheim will be receiving Jesper Bratt. There's so many teams now, it takes me like 3 minutes of just solid clicking that I don't really like doing because it hurts my fingers because I've been doing this so long. And this is season 18, so we will have now 2 teams that will be 0 overall in the postseason. Pittsburgh has had no playoff luck so far in this video, which has given me high hopes that they will not win the Stanley Cup and they'll be one of the last teams standing. Alright, Pittsburgh's finally going to get their first player, which is honestly a shocking thing to say, considering that we're so far into the video. But yeah, Pittsburgh finally see their first player along with Seattle and Buffalo, because Calgary won the Stanley Cup against the Rangers 4-0. Seattle will be receiving Connor McDavid, which is crazy. Next team would be Buffalo. Buffalo will be receiving Cale Makar. And Pittsburgh will be receiving Jack Hughes. Season whatever, don't really care anymore. I've been recording for the last 2 hours right now. Not a lot of teams left. 3 more in the Metro. 3 more in the Atlantic. 3 more in the Central. And 4 more in the Pacific. We're getting really close, guys. Pittsburgh isn't even in the top 10, dude. What happened to this team? Buffalo, Seattle, Ottawa... whatever. But Seattle won the Stanley Cup, so they're going to be eliminated. So that means Buffalo, and I think Ottawa will be picking up a player. Yeah, Buffalo, Ottawa. Buffalo will be receiving Connor McDavid, and Ottawa will be receiving Nikita Kucherov. Wow. I have no idea what season this is now, guys. I've been going for 2 hours, but Pittsburgh still continues to struggle against bad teams. I don't get it. Pittsburgh, 71-win season, first in the league. Good job, Pittsburgh. Yeah, you still didn't win. Buffalo won the Stanley Cup. Pittsburgh lost in the second round. I'm getting so sick of this damn team losing like this, bro. Time to give Buffalo Sabres players to Pittsburgh and New York. Wait, New York? Wait, what? Ah, I forgot. Connor McDavid is on this team. Oh. And now the Rangers will get Cale Makar. Wow. All right, Pittsburgh, you've got to do something here because you literally have Connor McDavid on your team. If you don't win the Stanley Cup with Connor McDavid on your team, I got no faith in you at all. Oh my God. Pittsburgh, top 3 team, by the way. And they still can't make it past the second round of the postseason. They lost to the Rangers. And the Rangers won the Stanley Cup. I don't understand, bro. How does that happen? Cale Makar will be going over to the Anaheim Ducks here. Igor Shesterkin will be heading over to the Ottawa Senators, so we have to get rid of a goalie here. I think we're going to get rid of... Who would it be? This guy. Okay. Fair trade. Pittsburgh will take Artemi Panarin. Not bad. Come on, Pittsburgh. Make it past the second round, please. You have some of the best players on your team right now. If you really can't get past the second round, I don't know. 75, 6, and 1. We finally won the Stanley Cup. Pittsburgh finally won the Stanley Cup. Oh my God. It took way too long for the stupid Penguins to win the Stanley Cup, dude. Way too long. You telling me that the Pittsburgh Penguins won 4-0 against the Islanders, but they can't win 4-0 against a 0 overall team. Anyways, Pittsburgh will be giving away 2 players to the Islanders and the Anaheim Ducks. I just realized the Islanders have never received a player yet, and they received Connor McDavid. Their first player, and it's Connor McDavid. Anaheim will receive Sidney Crosby. That just hurts seeing him in a different jersey that's, you know, not a Penguin, and instead of a Duck. Ugh, Ducks. What teams am I going to replace? Like, what league am I going to have to replace with, like, for teams now? Let's go Utah. Utah Yetis would have been a better name because, you know, Utah Mammoths actually sucks because they didn't even make it into the Stanley Cup final. They lost in the third round, and Ottawa won the Stanley Cup. But Ottawa also finished first in the league. So Ottawa will have to be handing over some players. Oh, Vancouver and the Islanders. Okay, nice. All right, Nikita Kucherov, you're going over to the Vancouver Canucks. Igor Shesterkin will be going over to the Islanders. So we're going to have to get rid of a goalie here. We will be getting rid of the goalie, Varlamov, I think. Didn't say pronounce that? I'm not sure. I'm kind of bad at pronouncing these names, dude. All right, Utah. If you don't win the Stanley Cup this season, you're actually a fraud. So let's go. The Islanders, the Ducks, the Blackhawks. These guys will be receiving, what do I want to say, a player from the Vancouver Canucks, because the Vancouver Canucks have won the Stanley Cup, which means that's another team gone in the Pacific. So the Vancouver Canucks will be giving a player to the Islanders, the Ducks, and the Blackhawks. Nikita Kucherov will be going over to the Islanders. Anaheim, so Jack Eichel will be going over to the Anaheim Ducks. And Chicago, for the first time we're seeing them in the video, I think this is actually the first time we're seeing them. Spencer Knight. Thatcher Demko will be coming over to the team. So who are we going to be getting rid of for a goalie? Soderblom. Bye. And you got Thatcher Demko, which is objectively one of the best goalies in NHL 26. It's like actually insane. This guy can stop anything. It's crazy. Well, guys, we're getting super close to the end of this video. One more team in the Metro, one more team in the Atlantic, 3 more in the Central, and 2 more in the Pacific. We're getting close. Come on, let's go. So those are our top 3 teams: the Islanders, the Ducks, and the Sharks. Cool. You think the Mammoth won? Well, no, they didn't. It was the Islanders. So that means, guys, that the Islanders have won, and that means that the Metro Division has no more teams that are in the NHL. The Metro team is done. Metro Division's done. Can't believe it. The Islanders will be handing over, I think, Connor McDavid's on there, which is crazy. So Connor McDavid's going to the Ducks. The Sharks have not even received a player yet, and they will get Nikita Kucherov. Not much longer to the finish line. Can the Mammoth actually get past the second round, or will they get eliminated? Let's find out. Bro, 70-11-1. And we lost in the Stanley Cup Finals to the Boston Bruins, bro. Oh my god. I'm so sick of that. Anyways, that means another division is done. The Atlantic Division has no more NHL teams. It's just the West now. Boston will be giving away 3 players away between the Blackhawks, the Ducks, and the Sharks. David Pastrnak will go over here. And also, I just realized the Boston Bruins have never gotten a player before, so they did that all. That's quite shocking. The Ducks will get Charlie McAvoy, and the Sharks will get Lindholm, and that's it. Next, another season, another expectancy of disappointments, because I know that the Mammoth will disappoint me and not win the cup. Let's find out. 74-5-3, and that still can't get us to win the stupid playoffs. San Jose won, but then again, in the Eastern Conference, it's just 0 overall teams. San Jose had easy win, so San Jose is officially free. It's just 4 more teams left, and then I'm free from this video. So Nikita Kucherov will be going over to the Anaheim Ducks, which is crazy. So Celebrini will be going over to the Mammoth. The Mammoth have a higher chance of winning without the Sharks, but then again, they're playing in the Central Division, which still have 3 NHL teams, so it's harder for them to win, I guess, in a way, compared to the Ducks. 77-3-2 will get us first in the league, and yet no playoff success, bro. And the Anaheim Ducks win, which means the Pacific Division officially has no more NHL teams either. It's just the Central Division. Who will be the last team to stand? The Mammoth, the Preds, or the Hawks? The Ducks will be handing over 2 players to the Mammoth, or 1 player to the Mammoth, 1 to the Predators. That's 2 players gone from the Ducks. Connor McDavid's going over to the Mammoth. Nikita Kucherov is going over to the Predators. All right, Utah, you have Connor McDavid. If you cannot win the Stanley Cup with Connor McDavid, there's no more faith for you guys. 78-2-2 for being first in the league to winning the stupid Stanley Cup, because the Nashville Predators are the biggest upset of the video, and Chicago got us there, and we won easily against them. We only lost 2 games in the Stanley Cup playoffs, so that's actually awesome. But we finally have won the Stanley Cup with the Utah Mammoth. That means that they're done, which means that they'll be handing over 2 players to the Blackhawks and the Predators, which will go against each other in the finals to see who will win the cup. Connor McDavid to the Blackhawks, and to the Preds, Clayton Keller. That's it. So we're obviously going to send the first 2 periods here. So we have Bedard scoring here, and boom, that's just a lot of goals here. And yeah, okay, well, we all knew Chicago was going to win that after the 3-goal lead there. Connor Murphy will lead the Chicago Blackhawks in points. Chicago, all right, leading 1-0 in the series here. Burakovsky, Roman Josi will be scoring here. Levshinov and Kaiser, and no goals in the third, which means Chicago will take a 2-0 series lead over the Nashville Predators. Okay, that's a lot of goals here. Karen, something. We stopped starring, alright? So now it's time to go into the third period here. Foligno will be scoring really fast in the third period. Chicago had many power play opportunities, but they can't convert on them. It's 4-3 Chicago going in with 10 minutes left in this game. Under 10 minutes now. who will be winning it? Will Nashville get the tie? They need to tie it, or else they'll be dropping the series to 3-0. And they'll be dropping 3-0. Nick Foligno will get the game winner. It's time for the finale. Game 4. Brady Shea, Ryan Donato, Tyler Bertuzzi. No goals in the second between the two teams. It's Chicago. Can they win it on home ice? Donato with a power play goal on UC Saros. Chicago. Steven Stamkos will be scoring, cutting the lead down. Chicago leading by 1 here. Under 10 to go. In the Game 4 Stanley Cup final. Can Chicago win it? And they will. 4-0 series sweep over Nashville, and Chicago will win the Stanley Cup, which means that the Preds, do they technically win or do they technically lose? Technically, the Preds technically do win. The Predators are the winner because they were the last team to get eliminated, which means that they win. They win this. So if you thought Nashville was going to win this, well, congratulations. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you made it this far, comment pizza, because I doubt anybody actually watched to the end. But if you did, comment pizza, because you did not make it to the end. And I'll see you in the next video.